Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
Welcome on in to a shortened edition of the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network and partnered with LPV Productions. We are brought to you by our great friends at Vector Technical. They'll get the right person in the right job the first time. I say it all the time, drive past their office in Willoughby and the job signs that they have, they can get you in. There is a lot. I'm telling you this right now. There is always a lot of basically what you see during election season, those type of yard signs. They have those, but it's all about what jobs they have available for you. So they'll get you, if you are the right person, they'll get you in the right job the first time. I'm Kevin Arnold. Across the table, it's Always Positive Jay. And I can actually see him tonight because there's not a screen here. There's no guest tonight. It's a shortened show. Weather's terrible. Peter Tellep is here. We also call him audio. What Jarvis was to Iron Man, audio is to the Voice of the Land.
And yes, dude, holy weather out there. Oh, wow.
I think it's going east to west.
Dude, I've never seen it go
Like
east.
it was.
It looks really weird.
I'm telling you, Peter, back where we live in Lake County, stark difference from when I got to downtown.
So, like, when I was coming here, I get right on 480 from Transportation Boulevard, right where the hill comes down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the weather was, like, kind of held up. It's, like, right in that hill. And it's just, like, blue sky, death sky. I'm like, all right, I hope it's going that way. And I look behind me. I'm like, it's chasing me. I'm like, it's trying to get me.
It's going to be chasing us on the way home.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going to have a shortened show today, I think.
Actually, I'm going to attack it. Peter and I are going to attack into it, but I know Peter's got some work to do after the show because there's another show in the studio. At some point, we need to, I know that there's a sponsor on the other show that uses this studio. We just got to take the sponsorships down. There's like nice couches over there. At some point, Peter, we got to do the show for me. I think a change of pace would be nice.
Sure, we can do that. That's not a problem.
All right.
Peter's like, yes, I don't have to move it. That'll be great.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Well, in 2 weeks, because we're off next week. I know you're going on vacation. It's kind of Labor Day week. It's that week leading into football season. We could preview Ohio State and stuff. But I think for all of us, I think we just all take a deep breath. You're on vacation. Peter's got a lot of stuff to do anyways. I got a lot of stuff going on too. So for a night, take a deep breath. Jay will be taking many of them wherever he's vacationing because it'll probably be way better than what we're doing, Peter.
Oh, I'll be in sunny Florida.
But Peter and I will take a deep breath that night.
Sitting by the pool.
And when we come back in September, was that September 6th, I want to say?
Yes.
Right before the Brown season.
Right before the Brown
Might
season.
Might have a special guest host with us in studio possibly too.
I like that little tease there. And we'll already have an Ohio State game to talk about. So we'll actually see a quarterback that's playing. We'll talk about the quarterback after they play because them deciding, hey, I could talk about that ad nauseum. People don't really want to hear that. But we do need to talk about a couple big things going on in the town right now. With the shortened show, let's just jump right in. Terry Francona. I feel like the writing might be on the wall, Jay, that the best manager this baseball team has ever had, the best manager / coach that this city has probably ever seen, arguably. I know that there are probably older fans that would argue other people because they got to see him.
It's him or Paul Brown. Well, and I'd probably give it to Paul Brown.
I'm going to jump in here. What about Mike Hargrove? Because Mike Hargrove took us to 2 World Series. Tito came here to get us a World Series. We got to 1.
My rebuttal to that, as much as I love Hargrove, like I'm not trying to demean anything that Mike Hargrove did because he's one. If I'm putting Terry 1, Mike Hargrove, I'm putting number 2 and in like a close number 2. But the talent that Mike Hargrove had,
versus totally different.
Versus what Tito has been able to do with the resources and the players that he has been handed during seasons and even in contention windows, we're trying to cut payroll and stuff like that. I would say 2 different scenarios. So yes, there was 2 World Series for Mike Hargrove, and I don't take that away from him. Only 1 for Terry, and yes, we would have loved to have won that one. To be in contention as often as we are, I know other people would probably argue the division's weaker than it was back then. That's totally fine. I definitely understand that. We'll agree to disagree there. For me, I would say Tito Francona because he has done
won a World Series, actually.
He's done a
That's
lot.
not for us.
Well,
Yeah,
that-
not for
He
us.
broke the Boston curse, which was pretty bad.
I'm
too,
only
so.
looking at his time here since 2013.
So I
Yeah.
have nothing against Tito at all.
Oh,
At
no,
all.
and-
I think he's a great manager.
this is-
It's just-
I
yeah.
agree.
But you bring up
I
a
could
good point.
argue with you. I could actually argue the Mark Hargrove, and like you said, that he had the more talent. He also had a lot more crazy personalities he had to deal with in that clubhouse, which was not easy. Albert and Scottsdale, I'm sure, was a pain in the you know what to deal with. And Eddie Murray, he looked like a friendly guy. He was not a friendly man. Like you give him those pictures, like you know what I'm saying. Like Tito had pitchers left and right.
No bats.
I mean, Charles Nagy was Mike Hargrove's best pitcher. So I mean, we could argue. I mean, I can argue both. Really
Right.
can.
Yeah.
I personally, like I said, I take the bigger picture. Tito won a World Series somewhere else, and he did what he did here was pretty remarkable.
And that's why I'm not
But
gonna like that.
It is close. It is close, Peter.
Yes, that's why I'm not gonna be like all jumping down people's throats, like trying to argue for one side or the other. I'm just saying that that's my counter argument. Like as soon as you said Mike Hargrove,
Mhm.
the counter argument came into my mind, but it's not. It has nothing to do with demeaning Mike Hargrove.
We're arguing too great.
Yes, my grandfather raised me to be a baseball fan, taught me what the game of baseball is. While I never got a chance to actually play it, and I regret that, but hey, I was allowed to do what I was allowed to do. It was all part of my upbringing. I respect my parents for what they decided to do and what they did to help my sister and I get through life and get into adulthood on our own and figure things out at that point. But I went to games when Mike Hargrove was the manager, so I saw
The human rain delay.
I saw what those great teams were and how good of a manager Mike Hargrove was. So no issue there. Back to Tito Francona, though. You guys have to admit, it seems like with the comments that have come out yesterday and now today, Zach Meisel has an article with some more comments, kind of him clarifying some things. Tito kind of got a little vague towards the end of the comments referring to retirement. And so he kind of clarified today, but basically he's saying like, I don't want to be the center of attention. So that's why we're not really going to discuss that right now. That time will come and maybe at the end of the season. But he's also saying he's going to have a shoulder replaced and he's got hernias he's got to have taken care of. And that he's starting to feel like he can't do the job at the level that he knows he's capable of doing and what we have seen for the most part since 2013. He feels the drop off just like the team has dropped off this year. He's felt the drop off in himself. And as sad as that day is going to be, and we will talk about his legacy at that point and like our thank yous and all of that. I'm not doing that right now. I'm not writing the managerial job eulogy yet for him because, again, there's no point right now. But you just have to look at it and see and hear what he's saying. Like, I want him to do what's best for him. He's done everything that he can. And if you listen to some of his post-game interviews, press conferences this year, I mean, he sounds defeated at times and sounds defeated like I don't know what else I can do, or I'm not able to give enough to what this young team. Yeah. He doesn't sound like he feels like he has enough to give to this young team what they need to what we talked about all year. Momentum. Every time they win a couple games, and they do something stupid and they lose a few games. And that's what's got them below 500. They haven't ever been able to turn that corner. And a Terry Francona that I know, if he was at his best, I think he would have known the right buttons to push. It's not that he doesn't know those. It's just he's so tired. He's so worn down. Like those things are just not coming to him as easily. And that's what he is starting to realize.
I mean, yeah, the writing's on the wall. Totally is. I feel bad for the guy. I think them selling the way they did this year really hurt, like took a big toll on him. And I'm just so disappointed in the whole situation, to be honest with you. I don't want to see him go out not in a playoff run. Like that's not how Tito Francona should end. Like there's part of me is like, come on, man, just say one more year, and let the team know, like, if you invest, I'll come back. But at the same time, it's like, man, you're tired. You do look tired. Like, just go enjoy life. You got a family.
And again, nothing has been made official. He hasn't
Mhm.
retired yet. I could see him going through part of the offseason, not even saying something right at the end of the year. If he really is into it, that'll come right at the end of the year. I think, like,
I don't think he'll announce it, like you said, during the season, because he thinks the season's about the team, and
Right.
he doesn't want it to be about him. And at the end of the season, when that time comes, he'll announce it.
Right. But I feel like it'll be a lot closer to the end of the season if he's just dead set on it. But if there is that hesitation, he might go through that shoulder surgery and the hernia surgeries, and then kind of start to recover and see what he feels. Yeah, see how he feels. Now, are there people that maybe decide to hang it up, whether it's playing or coaching? Maybe they decide too late. Yes, but I think that's what Terry's already starting to think about. I don't want it to be too late. There was a quote in the Zach Meisel tweet, and I'm gonna pull it up. But talking about, I want to make sure I quote it directly from what Terry Francona said today. But basically, kind of saying, I want to be able to be good for life. I don't want to be just good for baseball and good for being a manager. So as I pull this up, and this is a clip, you can go to Zach Meisel on Twitter. He has an article for The Athletic if you subscribe, and there's a little clip of this, and it says, his health. I'm going to read this paragraph. There's one about life after baseball, and there's one about his health. So, quote, when the season's over, I need to get my shoulder replaced. That's a pretty lengthy recovery, probably. Kind of like skips over. This is like paraphrasing it. So it goes on to say, and I also have 2 hernias that need to be repaired. Every winter, I've been trying to get healthy for the season, and then I get beat up. I need to get healthy for life. So that's where it is right there. This lifestyle is just too difficult. I went to see the doctor this morning just to set these things up, trying to be logical. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So that comment right there is like, you feel like it's
like I said, the writing is on the wall. He's saying it without saying it.
Yeah, and because he's trying not to be the focal point,
Mhm.
because he cares about this team. He cares about this city. He cares about these players. He cares about the fans. But hey, like anybody in professional sports, we always put them on a pedestal and like they're bigger than us. They're still humans. They're still human beings.
Now,
and if you have a best friend or family members, you want them to do what's best for them, right? For their health, for them, right? That's what you probably tell them. Well, Terry Francona is a part of our Cleveland sports family. He's that friendship, that bond that Cleveland has to their coaches, their teams, all of that stuff. He is embedded in that forever. It's the same concept. You want him to do what's best for him. As sad as it is for me to see him go, because I love seeing him as the manager of this team, I'm going to understand if that decision does come at the end of this year or within the next year's time.
2 things. I think it's going to be rough to not have Tito, but I think he set up such a good culture here, unlike the Browns who've been trying to establish a culture forever. The Guardians have a true amazing culture, and whoever his successor is, and we'll talk about who we want to see in a little bit, I think he'll do just fine.
Yeah.
And it's going to suck. You don't want to replace the great, you want to replace the guy who replaces the guy, but I don't think that's going to be a problem here, honestly. Like I said, I think the culture is great. But when they say like they want to prepare for his life after baseball, I think the Indians, or Guardians, are going to give them a position with this team, like almost like a Pat Riley kind of position where he's overseeing things. He doesn't have to travel with the team no more, but he's a part of the team. Like, he's a baseball lifer, man. His whole entire life has been baseball. It's not healthy to just walk away from that if you still love the game, and he does love the game. Otherwise, he wouldn't have coached this year if he didn't love the game. Is he physically able to do a manager's job? Probably not anymore. He's saying it himself. But to be a part of baseball, he's one of the great minds of baseball. Like, you just don't let that guy go to the wayside.
But if he wants to just go enjoy
I
his
mean, yeah,
life,
if he
and
wants to, go
I know
ahead.
he has kids. Like, if you want to go enjoy time with them and any grandkids you might have, you know what? More power to it. He's not gone yet. So we're not gonna eulogize it and say our thank yous and stuff right now. And honestly, I mean, this is democracy. So you guys tell me. This show is always gonna be democracy. But my idea is that talking about who we want to replace him, we wait until a decision is actually made, and we wait like a week after that, so we can focus solely on
Why do you think I didn't say it?
Terry Francona.
Yeah,
I don't want to replace someone, you know what I mean, until he's gone.
I don't think there's any reason even to talk about that, because whenever Terry does decide to retire, that list of who could replace him is going to be probably very different than what it would be possibly today. So
Yeah, so we'll talk about that when the time is right. But I think
if there's anyone, though,
sharing how much,
maybe myself, I'm ready to. I could do it. Just give me one paycheck 1 year. I'm good.
just one paycheck,
I don't
one
care what the
paycheck for
record.
one game, and then
Yeah, I'm good. Just one game, please.
I mean, you hear like kind of almost like melancholy in all our voices, and because it's still a sad thing, but like how much we care about him, how much like he means to the city, that we want to see him be able to enjoy everything else, everything else that life has to offer, that baseball hasn't taken away from him, just has inhibited him from being able to experience, because that's his passion. That's what he found. And if you're passionate about something, you know what? Love it. Go for it. Do it. We say that all the time on the show.
One of the roughest things about sports is watching people you love to see retire.
Mhm.
Players, coaches, and stuff. Like, LeBron's coming up, man. You know, that's going to suck. You'd be like, man, NBA ain't got LeBron no more. It's weird. When I didn't like watching Jordan retire. That sucked. Manny retiring. That sucked. I don't like. That's like my thing I hate about sports is.
I want you guys to make me a promise right here on the show.
Maybe.
The 2 days I'm going to need you guys to check on me. Not for like, I'm saying this like in terms of like sports fandom, just like in a corner.
When that happens,
I
already have the envisionment of when I call you, how this phone call will go. Terry
Francona. Still, like it's gonna. I know it's gonna impact me that much because again, my grandfather taught me the game, taught me what the Franconas have done in the game of baseball. So Terry Francona and LeBron James. The day LeBron retires.
Kevin, have you ever seen Anchorman?
Yeah.
Peter, you've seen it?
Oh yeah.
The glass box of emotion here.
Yes.
He's like, I gotta say one thing. He retired. I'm like, Kevin, relax. I can't hear you. No.
I'm gonna hug all my jerseys, my shoes.
Yeah. I'm in a glass box.
I mean, I probably should hug my wife and my kid too. But, all right, I don't want to get us too far off track because it is a shortened show. So on the other side of the break, yeah, we got to talk a little Browns because
we're close.
One final preseason game is our last chance to talk about the Browns before, really that game week when you're in game mode, getting ready for the season. What could this roster look like? Who could be on it or off it? We'll try to talk about all that in 10 minutes. On the other side, this is the Voice of Land, the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Land, the shortened edition of the Voice of Land before we kind of take a bit of a final summer hiatus and then come back College football will have fully kicked off.
Man, we will have so much content to talk about, Kevin.
NFL football will be a day away from opening with the Chiefs and the Lions, and the Browns will be getting ready
Oh,
for
my.
the Bengals. Oh, Chiefs and Lions and
Bears,
Browns.
oh, my.
It's an exciting time in Northeast Ohio. High school football has already kicked off. Good games that you guys. I mean, I watched some of them. I was made sure I had the stream up, so I had the score updates for the show I'm on now. But
Yeah, so Thursday night we were at Conneaut, and the truck made it there.
All right.
And made it back on the freeway. We actually took the freeway because of the rain.
You got bold.
Well, if you've ever driven out that far going on the side roads, like the back roads, freeway's a heck of a lot straighter than those side, and not that much faster, because a lot of those side roads are, they're 55 miles an hour through the country, and it's windy.
It makes me car sick.
But yeah, so we had a good game. It was I think 20-0 was the final. Conneaut did really well, and then the Orange Beechwood game. Beautiful night for football Friday. I mean, it was like perfect weather.
Kind of got away from Beechwood, didn't it?
Oh, well, Beechwood, I guess, graduated. Most of their team was
like Marquise Pinckney.
Yeah,
and number 5, I can't remember the running back that was like just like power.
Yeah, because Beechwood pretty much manhandled Orange last year.
Oh yeah,
and Orange just they came with a chip on their shoulder, and I mean, Beechwood is a very young team. I'm sure they'll get better, but yeah, it was a running clock second half.
Some big games down in Massillon and Canton. The Ohio Showcase, Northeast Ohio versus America. 4-0 sweep.
Nice.
Massillon, Washington. Massillon. Well, when you say Massillon, it's Massillon, Washington. But the Massillon Tigers, they got to win. St. Ed's, of course, they won. And these guys are playing state champions in other states and higher divisions.
How good Ohio is at football, and what is it, like Texas, Florida, California, Ohio?
Yeah,
you compare our population compared to those other 3.
I know
we're like a third, and we're just still competing and put out. And you know why? Because we got the best coaches in the nation, dude.
I know. I mean, all across the board through the 7 divisions. I know. Yeah, Ed's, then Hoban won. And Glenville topped it off. I mean, they're off to a flying start, trying to defend their state title. I believe they're in Division 4, I want to say, but don't quote me. I don't like to shoot from the hip. So, but football will be going.
Kevin shot first.
Yes, I did. Browns will be just about ready to get things started at Cleveland Browns Stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is likely to play in that game.
Oh, he's playing.
We'll have more information by the time we get back.
I don't know how long it'll make it, but he's playing.
Yes, he is playing. And it's the first real chance we'll have to see of what this defensive line looks like, because Myles Garrett doesn't play.
I ain't going to lie, Kevin. As much as I've been talking, I'm not going to get overhyped. I'm not going to get down on anything either. I may be getting a little excited about the defensive line. I mean, the Shelby Harris was that last key piece you needed, because he's a professional and he's going to do his job. I don't need Aaron Donald. And no, we're not going to get Aaron Donald with all this cap space. It's all going next year, I believe. With that said,
Nick Chubb extension, I think, too.
Zadarius Smith is the man. I was so excited when they got him for what they got him for. And I'm like, all right, you ain't triple teaming and double teaming Myles Garrett no more. And as you can hear, he is just looking incredibly explosive.
Well, and
it's everyone's like, oh, Jedrick Wills can't stop him. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you knew this, but no one on the Eagles could stop him either, and they got one of the best lines in the league.
Yeah, that's a hard thing to. There is criticism to be levied onto Jed Wills.
I'm waiting until game days until I'm going to start grading him again.
Right,
last year we'll talk about what he did, but not in training camp. But he's going against Myles Garrett. No one could stop Myles Garrett, Kevin. Nobody. Maybe Peter, but he could just outsmart him.
Yes.
He's an AI system.
Yes, an AI system, I think could. Starters playing 20 to 25 plays in the final preseason game against KC, but I don't know if KC is actually going to play any of their starters. They kind of played for a whole half last week, everyone's like on a different schedule, different
I don't know what's
philosophy with
going
this.
on with preseasons, like who's starting and what these anymore. With
But with 2 weeks off, you need Deshaun Watson. You need this offense to get out there and
Mhm.
actually play against any sort of defense. I know that there's going to be, and you're getting excited. I get excited for football season, but I'm still in that same spot. Like, I gotta see it. But the only chance I'm gonna get to see it is when Deshaun Watson, this offense, and that defensive line is all on the field together. Myles Garrett's not playing in this game. I'm sure Nick Chubb's not playing in this game. So those are the two names you still don't get to see. So you don't know, what does Nick Chubb do for this offense that they're trying to put around Deshaun Watson and build for Deshaun Watson? What does that element of having the best running back in the NFL do for him when he hasn't really had that? Now, did he have Arian Foster in Houston?
don't think so.
But like Foster,
If he did, it would have been at like the tailspin of his career.
and Foster wasn't like, I didn't think he was like
He
worlds
was,
beyond.
He had like, I think like 3, maybe 4 great years, and he was really good. But he
Nick
broke
Chubb
down.
has had good years every single time. So what does that element do for this team? We don't know. We won't get a chance to see it. But I know that there's going to be people that say, like, if Deshaun Watson looks great on Saturday, there's going to be the people that say, oh, well, he did it against second and third stringers. If he doesn't look great, then that's really going to, allow the real haters. I have my feelings towards Deshaun Watson. I keep mentioning it on this show. I'm trying to look at this from football standpoint, because that's what people want to hear, looking at it from that standpoint. It's the best quarterback talent on paper that we've had since 1999. It's got to show on the field, or else this team is going nowhere. I'm sure everyone has heard that so many times already, and you're sick and tired of hearing it. But until we actually get the real season underway, I just want to saw some good practices already this week from Deshaun Watson in this offense. Let's translate it to the field against whoever it is. Like, that's the next step in this. I mentioned Andrew Berry did what he could in the offseason, but I'm not going to get overhyped just because, oh my gosh, another time that a GM made every single right move and you can't question them at all. He did what he was supposed to do in the offseason for as much as that could be done. Football couldn't be played at that time. This team, through training camp, through OTAs, they're doing all that they can do up to this point. And I want to see those checkpoints crossed in a successful manner. Then we get to the season. Now the real grades and the real discussions about what this team is will start.
The thing I think that gets why I'm actually getting that most excited about the defense, even though I'm trying, like I said, we don't get it until I see it in a game, is Jim Schwartz. It's without a doubt. That guy is a proven commodity. He knows how to get a team ready, and he clearly has the talent. He's never failed as a defensive coordinator. He's a great defensive coordinator. One of of this time, this era, one of the best there is, clearly. And he's got Myles Garrett. Like, Myles Garrett's never had anyone with over 10 or double-digit sacks next to him in his entire career, and he's got someone who's done it 4 years in a row. It's him. I think Aaron Donald and him are like the only 3 that have done it. Like, I'm trying to keep Simmer down, but I ain't gonna lie, it's building in there, Kevin.
Right,
that excitement's building, and that's just that's the fan in us, dude.
Right, because the quarterback position has been Kevin Stefanski's crutch that he can lean on. I'm not trying to say anything bad against him, but there has been a lot to question about Kevin Stefanski. But he has almost skated somewhat under the radar. It's not.
This is why I keep saying it's the defense I'm excited about.
Right.
Because I could believe that's going to happen. I'm not 100% on what's going to happen with this offense.
But
he's got stuff to prove.
It's the situational decisions, the fourth downs, the end of the games. It's how you approach those final drives and timeouts and things that should have been a much bigger conversation. But again, what has allowed him to be a big conversation, but not really big and really diving into all these poor decisions, is the fact that he hasn't had a good quarterback, and everybody feels like he finally has that. So guess what? Excuses out for him. Deshaun Watson has said all the right things. You got your 6 games out of the way. You got your rust out of the way. It might not look pretty to start the year. It's going to take time. You want to play your best football at the end, but you want to see those signs a lot more at the start than everything we saw last year. People don't want to talk about it, but it still matters. Excuses are out the window. It is time for this team to put up or shut up.
They can't talk about it. They got to be about it, like we say every
The only problem is there's a huge question. And when you do have to make those 4th down decisions, that there might be an out for Kevin Stefanski because the kicker is just not right. As much as I love Cade York, something isn't right with Cade York right now. And if you are going to go all in, if you watch him on Saturday this week and you're still seeing the same things, a move needs to be made. Not necessarily getting rid of him, but bringing in someone that you can trust a lot more to hit those 40 to 49-yard field goals on a consistent basis, especially when it matters most at the end, because there's going to be the games that are decided by 3 points or less. It's going to happen. That's how Brown seasons go. That's how NFL games go. But a lot of times, that's how we lose. We find new ways to lose in Cleveland, and the point differential was 3 or less, or maybe 7 or less. It's a 1-score game. That has to come to fruition.
I need the time machine, man. I need to go get Phil Dawson back.
Yeah, love to have Phil Dawson and Joe Thomas on this team. Like, boy, would we feel real good right now.
I ain't gonna come out here and call for the dude's job either.
I'm not calling for his job.
You're not. That's what I said either.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're just not like that on this show. Like we said, if you try hard and you bust your ass in practice and you give it everything you got, which I don't know how much a kicker can do, but he does work hard at his practice. And like, he's not a schlub out there, and he's not out clubbing, and we're not hearing anything bad about him. So if you're on my team, I'm rooting for you. Good luck this weekend, Cade.
Yeah.
I hope you get it together, because dude, he is a phenomenal talent. Like, he's got a leg, man. Like, one of the most powerful legs in the NFL already. He just needs to get it together, either in his head or whatever small technique he's got to do. And I wish you nothing but the best. But I am with Kevin. If you mess up again this weekend, don't be surprised if they bring in a Robbie Gould. And I hope you stay on the practice squad, like Grossi has been saying, and just get it together.
I'm not trying to get rid of the kid.
No, I don't either, because I think he's a phenomenal talent. I really do. It's just, if you're drafted as a kicker, that's a lot of pressure on it.
It is.
That's why
if
you watch careers of kickers, they get drafted, they get cut by the team, then they go somewhere else where they're like, all right, well, whatever, I'm going to try out, and they're more relaxed, and then their career takes off all the time. I mean, Justin Tucker's are 1 in a million.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, Justin Tucker is like a whole different conversation in the kicking game.
Yeah, Justin Mother Tucker.
Yes. Not trying. I'm definitely no way in heck am I trying to get rid of the kid. But all I'm saying is, and there's people that are actually rooting for him to suck, so they have to make that decision. Why rooting for people to suck, rooting for people to get hurt, 2 of the biggest pet peeves I ever have. Whether they're on your team or someone else's team. Like, stupid. Would I love to see Justin Tucker miss? Sure. But am I rooting for him to be an absolute failure? No, I want best on best, and I want our best to beat your best. Guess what? If their best beats you that day and you gave your best,
you live with it.
You live with it. But I don't want to just root for other teams to fail. I want our team to succeed. There is a difference in that. And I want this.
I do root for Pittsburgh to fail.
Okay, well, there's
exceptions to everything.
There's an exception to every.
Sith Lords deal in absolutes.
I mean, everybody knows on the show, I hate Pittsburgh. I hate Pittsburgh.
I mean, if Pittsburgh was being honest with themselves, they would admit that they hate themselves.
Oh, you guys know I got in trouble one time in high school because I made a joke about not liking Pittsburgh.
No, but you should have gotten in trouble. You should have gotten A's and maybe
AP English class. Somehow the conversation of Pittsburgh came up. I think it was in a book that we were reading, and my friend was a Pittsburgh fan. Her family's from West Virginia. They grew up Steelers fans. I knew that was like a direct link, not this person that's saying my father's cousin's twice removed aunt nephew was like my best friend and he's a Steelers fan, so that's why I'm a Steelers fan. No, this is raised, born, bred through the generations Steelers fans. So we just had that back and forth. This is when Roethlisberger was getting the best of us and at the height of his career. And I just leaned over and said, well, I would never want to go to Pittsburgh, because we knew that joking between us. Teacher heard it, flipped out, like, Pittsburgh's got great infrastructure. Why wouldn't you want to go there? Why wouldn't you want to? Like, bro, it's just a joke. It's just a sports joke. Sorry, this is probably not the AP English. Probably not the.
Seeing a teacher yell, like envisioning a teacher yell at you is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten yelled at times.
You know how you can't yell I'm sorry, not yell, but you can't swear in Brown Stadium anymore. You actually will get in trouble, and if someone keeps hearing you do it, they can kick you out. I'm pretty sure that's my fault. I won't even explain to you why.
But
I'm behind the curtains. I'll tell you why, but I'm pretty sure I'm the reason you cannot swear in that stadium.
Yeah, but then
it has to do with Steelers fans.
You try to do that. You try to police that. Then week 1, it's going to look like it does in week 14 when the team sucks. Half the seats are going to be empty because there's a bunch of drunk people that have no filter when they're sober, and then they're going to be drinking because you're not supposed to drink in the music lot or at any tailgates. Like anybody stopping that, there's going to be adult beverages consumed, and there's going to be behavior that's not becoming of human beings. I don't know how you police that, because then you're going to kick half the crowd out of there. I mean, great, the families get to enjoy a nice, peaceful game, but still,
they almost kicked me out once. That's all I'm telling you.
I mean, I almost got kicked out of a high school game one time. So,
it is
right.
what it is.
It is what it is. I have those issues, and I don't even drink.
So, is there any guys you want to see make this team that you think deserve a spot?
I had a point with Cade York, and I don't know where I was going. Basically, don't root for him to fail.
No, that's just lame.
But again, if you're going all in, this is the point. I came back to my mind. If you're going all in, you cannot have any loose ends. They might not, if you don't have any loose ends, still
you're
things
only as strong as your weakest link.
Things might still not go right or whatever.
Cliches.
Cliches, yes. Things still may not go right, but you have given it everything you can. The front office, the coaching staff have given them the tools. They've tried to utilize the tools. If they don't execute, they don't execute. And that's a problem. But if you already have a loose end, you're going all in, those two don't work. Who I would like to see on this team is Austin Watkins.
Thank you. That dude better make the team. He has to make the. I love that kid. His hands.
And this is
his
not
hands. They're so good.
This
he
is
just
not
drop the ball, Kevin. He could go up and moss people.
I know.
Catch on the sideline.
But when the
catch
lights
with one
get
hand,
bright, what would he have if he got in a game? Like those are
He's
questions
catching
that guys
He's catching it.
because he wasn't even a starter in the USFL. Do you guys know that? He was like 5th on his team. I mean, they won the championship, but he was like 5th best on his team, like 5th on the depth chart. And he's trying to make an NFL team. I mean, something may have clicked, and that's totally fine. I would love to see him make this team because, I mean, yeah, the dude can catch.
He can catch, dude. He just gets open and he can catch.
And this isn't a Devin Kajust or those years that Donovan Peoples-Jones wasn't at the level he's getting to now. Like, oh my gosh, he had the greatest camp and then does absolutely nothing in the season. Like that bright spot in camp that everybody this isn't the same thing. Like we have seen him in games, in practice, against some of the better players, some of the lower tier.
Every single day he shows out.
There's a play, at least one play, if not 2 or more, on Twitter from reporters of this guy making a play. Like you can't, and if he is good on special teams, that's the thing I was told to look for by some of the people in the Browns organization. Thing to look for: who comes out first team on kickoff coverage or returns. If he's out there, that's a good indication. Doesn't mean if he's not out there, he's not making the team, not necessarily, but he might be one of those guys like that makes the team and then they go to the waiver wire or sign a free agent.
Try to stay on the practice squad.
And try to keep him on the practice squad.
He'll get gobbled up. Dude.
He will. But maybe like a lower level team that he bumps up to 2nd or 3rd best wide receiver, but he goes to practice squad. I don't think you're keeping him. If he's on the 53, that would be cool. If it doesn't happen,
he's related to Sammy Watkins?
Cousin,
isn't he? Cousin.
So, hey,
he's got the
there's some genetics in there. Yeah,
he's got the good bloodlines.
And if he doesn't, it's not going to be like the end all be all, because we're talking about a guy like at the end of the roster. We're not talking about starting positions here. And I think that's an important thing to
All I know
realize.
is I'll flip out if they keep Anthony Schwartz over him. I'm sorry.
I
And
don't
I
think
don't
that's
even
happening. I think it would be David Bell and Jakeem Grant. That's where he's at, because if they want Jakeem Grant to be the kick returner, then he's going to have the position is really listed as wide receiver, even though he's more of a special teamer. So
time will tell.
Thank
God, it ain't our job to do that.
And time is telling us it's time to go and get safely home. So if you are tuned in, hopefully you are safe at home as well. We are headed out of here for 2 weeks. We'll be back on September 6th right here on the Big Play Network with the Voice of the Land. For Always Positive J, for Peter Tellep, I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans out there and fans anywhere, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. Go after what you want. Don't let people tell you what you want is not good enough. We love you all 3,000. We truly, truly mean that every single week. While it's a line from a movie, we mean that with all of our hearts. Jay.
Don't talk about it. Be about it.
And as our late, great friend Mike Allen always used to say, live life, all gas, no brakes. Go for it. Again, don't let people tell you no. Go for what you're passionate about and live it to the fullest. We'll be back in 2 weeks right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.